Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Crazy Brave 6913. We're here with the paper mache rainbow skull. Like always, I have been doing some work off camera. Let me show you what I got going on here. I went ahead and attached the head with the cables that are going to be going inside for the lights. I did all the lighting inside of it and glued the wires down and everything. So it's ready to go. Let me show you what it looks like. Turn these lights off. Let me bring you over here to this side of the table. You got the lights going on there, but the lights respond to music, right? The lights synchronize to music, so yeah, it's coming out pretty good. The next step to do here is to add the layer of clay so I could seal it off, and then I could start working on the rose. But here's a closer look at the light. Alright, so shortly after shooting that, those two little cables that you see there holding the top and the bottom of the skull ended up snapping. And I panicked, and I pretty much spent the rest of the day trying to figure out how to solder and find a soldering gun to connect these tips. And didn't get it on video, but you know what happened now. Back to the vlog. It's on top of the skull, how they're looking, and the inside of the skull. I went ahead and I covered the music box that's in there just so it looks more cleaner. The mirrors are in there as well, and this is what the bottom of it looks like. If you guys did not see the other episodes, check them out. I think by the end of this episode, at least this will be covered with clay, and maybe working on some of the detail on the outside.
One eternity later.
So as you can see, it's definitely later in the day, but I did learn how to solder, and I got it working again. So we're back in business, guys. The reason that my light strips are on is because my light just went off today, and I don't have an extra one, so I have to wait until I go to the store to get another one. Until now, I'm gonna have to work with this type of light, which actually fits the mood. Just so you guys believe me, no light action. Here comes Dea screaming.
I was screaming? For like 5 seconds.
Okay.
I'm leaving.
Right? Okay, so we'll see what happens. But I'm very excited that we got it working again. So here we go. Let's get this little time lapse going here. It's still nighttime. I added a thin layer almost all the way around the skull, except the back part over here, because I'm gonna let the inside of it dry first, and the bottom of it still feels kind of wet, and if I press on the back of the head, it's still kind of squishy, so I need to let that dry up. So I worked on the bottom of it and some of the face and the side of the skull. I spent some time doing this little cradle here thing, so I could open up the head like this and work on it without it rolling around and snapping the cables again. So hopefully this little thing works. It's just a couple pieces of cardboard with a bigger piece of cardboard over here, so I can move the whole thing if I want to, without having to twist it around so much and having to snap the wires again. So I'm gonna spend some time doing that, getting the inside of it ready.
3 days later.
A couple of days have passed by. I would say maybe 2 or 3. I worked on it slowly because I don't want it to buckle, and I don't want any of this to start falling in different ways, because once you add clay to these thin sections, it starts like warping in different ways. So you have to be careful as you add a clay to it. Maybe just at the bottom of it, let that harden up, and then just work your way slowly so it doesn't all get wet and start warping on you. So that took the longest. I pretty much did the whole thing except for the back of it. Let's see if I can show you here. There it is. You see over here, better over here. There's little wet spots in here, and those are just there because those are just spots I missed, and I'm covering them up now. The next thing we're going to be working now is going to be the flower that goes inside of the skull. It might take like a day, or it might take like a week, because you could only work on a certain amount of petals at a time. You don't want to work on it too much and then they all kind of start flopping over on each other. So you might be able to work on 2 or 3 petals at a time. We'll see what happens right now and how big I'm able to make it to fit in there. So yeah.